If I were to take my planche journey holistically and really nitpick all the tiny points or even the general trend or the flow of what I've learned, it's mainly that the planche is very complex. There's so many ways to approach it, and only going at it with an attack that's very specific is not going to get you as far as utilizing everything you have, utilizing all the tools you have, all the different kind of exercise approaches, or the like dabbling between dynamics, isometrics, like bent arm work, right? And it seems a bit ironic, contradictory that a move, a skill, an isometric hold, which is specializing in one particular movement, a moment like a holding contraction where your muscle does not change length, right? It's an isometric, right? It's a static hold where you don't require any dynamic movement, right? So why is it that when you perform these dynamic exercises, when you start to implement variety in your training, why is it that this is the point where you start to really gain progression? Well, when we consider it, I think there is a very clear note that just focusing isometrics is not enough for the planche. Yes, it provides with the very strong specificity, right? But isometrics is a skill. Yes, it requires strength. It does indeed produce some form of strength. But I would say that there is a lot more benefit in doing isometric and static holds if you are trying to apply your strength, right? Learning how to utilize your strength. I don't see this as a nice tool to create strength. And I think this is something that took me a long time to really establish in my head. I always thought that if I need to work on the planche, if I'm working on this one particular movement, right? So not movement, but like a hold, then to get better at it, do more of it, right? So do more static holds and stuff, right? But that caused me to plateau because I only focused on applying the strength. If you have very limited potential strength and you've maxed it out, right? You've maxed out using it to its full potential, then, well, you've got a limiter, right? That's your limit. You need to start to increase and bring about a greater range for your limit to overall to just get a greater limit, right? You want to have a greater strength potential. And even that, I feel like if you focus too much on the specificity in isometrics, you still won't be able to utilize all your strength, right? You need some form of dynamic exercise. You need straight arm dynamics and bent arm in order to really maximize the strength that is the range of motion of your joint, specifically your shoulders, right? Now, why do I mention range of motion when the planche is only a very one position hold exercise? Reason why is because when you consider the total range of motion that's provided with bent arm exercise, right? You're providing strength, you're creating strength through full angles, right? You're allowing your shoulder socket, the girdle, to move around, right? You're undergoing flexion, extension, all of that stuff. So you are maximizing the complete mind-muscle connection with that shoulder contraction, right? So there's that small aspect of that applying strength, but the biggest gain is creating strength in that whole motion, right? In that sense, if you have an understanding of the total motion, you will be strong with that one particular isometric hold. And when you consider it, such as like the planche push-up, right, the pseudo planche push-up, well, you've got the hold, which is the planche lean. Therefore, you're implementing the isometric. You're going down, which is the dynamic, and that's the eccentric and concentric. So you got all three, and you're getting you're reaping all those benefits, right? So in that sense, dynamics are very beneficial. But then again, you can't go anywhere with purely dynamic bent arm work, right? Yes, you get all 3 points to really maximize, but all those 3 points, you're only getting a bit of each one, right? you get a tiny bit of specificity, a bit more in your strength creation, right? So what do? You compensate with variety. You do more isometrics, right? Then you start to bring in straight arm strength, straight arm dynamics, right? Now, I still don't have a strong understanding of straight arm dynamics. I feel as though, yes, you're giving yourself the full range of degrees, the angles, like the variety, like the changing torque on your shoulders, right? Yes, you're providing that with your straight arm, but I guess, yes, you're stretching you're contracting, or you're under constant contraction of your muscle, and you're stretching it in these different positions. Honestly feel as though this isn't as beneficial in creating strength. I feel like it's the middle ground between isometrics and full bent arm dynamics. So you got the best of both worlds, having that specificity alongside creating strength, though not fully maximizing utilizing each section, right? In that sense, where can you find the perfect equilibrium point, the perfect established moment where you can, find the perfect ratio, knowing what to apply and getting the max out of your whole session? I think the golden ratio in planche training is 2 to 1 to 1, respectively. Isometric hold statics as your 2, so half your exercise workout load. Your quarter is going to be your straight arm dynamics, and the final quarter is your dynamic bent arm work. In that sense, I feel as though just from that established moment, this is a general but a nice way to guide your planche progression and your planche program. So that's basically it, and I'll finish it off here.